Today I'm continuing on with my challenge for Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Week. Today is day 4. It is February 10th, and today's word is realization. The thing that first pops up in my mind is something really hard to talk about. But again, I want to share my story because some of you might be able to relate, and it's important to talk about this stuff because it's not an everyday thing that you talk about and that you hear about, but it's something that a lot of us experience every day. So when I think of realization, I think of the day I woke up at 3 in the morning by my phone. I was here in my bed next to my husband, sleeping, and of course my routine every day was to get up early, around 6 a.m., get ready for the day, go travel all the way to Children's Hospital Minneapolis, which was about a half-hour away, half-hour drive, and spend the entire day with my daughter, and then go back home at night and do it all over again this next day. But this one day was different. I was woken by my phone at 3 in the morning, and it was one of Gracie's nurses, and she had explained to me that Gracie's heart rate was really low, which was very strange to her because she usually had a higher heart rate that she had all the time. Of course, the nurse was very worried, and so she wanted to let me know. I said, I am on my way. So I tossed a sweatshirt on and sweatpants, and I didn't care what I looked like. I brushed my teeth and packed an overnight bag and, went to hospital. There was a lady there that I never met before, and she stopped me and she said, "Are you Gracia's mom?" I said, "Yes, I am." And she said, "We have been giving Gracia compressions for about an hour, and they are trying to put her on ECMO." Basically, what that means at this point, after 82 days, it basically meant that she would be on life support. So she was not doing good, and I just, after the lady told me all this, I just knew exactly what that meant. And it hadn't really hit me at that point. I was just kind of in a daze, I wasn't really interpreting what all was going on. I was just panicking. So I walked down the hallway to her room, and there were just machines galore and people just surrounding inside the room and outside her room in the hallway. It was just crammed. Gracie's nurse saw me, and she came over and she said, "Becky, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. Her heart rate just started falling." I don't really remember everything that nurse told me because I was, again, just in a panic. I so badly wanted to be in that room right next to her, holding her hand, but I wasn't allowed in there, and so there was a window right outside her room that you can just look right into, and so I sat outside that room looking in the window, my hands were clenched, and I kept on saying over and over, God, don't let this be it. God, don't let this be it. I'm not ready. And so I called my husband, Sean. I said, Sean, you need to get here. The only reason he wasn't there with me was because he had to go to work, in the morning. And I just thought it was just going to be another setback. She was just telling us that she wasn't ready to go home. So I called him and I said, Sean, I need you here. Gracie needs you here. I remember looking in those windows and seeing, again, the tiny, tiny baby on this big bed with one of her wonderful nurses just pounding on her tiny chest, just up and down and up and down. I will never get that picture out of my mind. Felt like 2 minutes went by, but it was a half hour later, and the doctor came out again, and she said, Becky, her heart is just, it's giving out, it's not doing anything, and we can't find any veins that are pumping anymore that we can put ECMO into. And she said, we've been trying for an hour and a half and nothing. And she said, we can continue as long as you need us to, as long as you want. But, it's your call. Really? Is it my call? Oh, I know so many moms that have had this hard decision, even harder than what our situation was, but have had to make that decision on letting their baby go. That's a decision that no parent should ever have to make. I said, okay. I said, okay. I didn't want her to suffer anymore. I didn't want her to feel pain. And I knew that if she did come out of this, by some sort of miracle, that she would not be okay. She would be in so much pain. She would, who knows what other kind of complications would have come after all this. And so I said, okay. The nurses cleaned her up, put her in the blanket, detached all of her wires and everything. The nurse invited me in, and I sat down in the rocking chair that I had rocked her in every day since she had her tracheostomy. And she handed Gracia to me. When she was free. She was absolutely free. I sat with her in that rocking chair. I sang her special songs that I always sang to her, and I told her, you're beautiful, I love you, and God is going to take such good care of you. And I held her the rest of the day. I held her so tight. I held her like I never held her before. I danced with her in her hospital room. Her surgeon came in and cried with us. Her doctors came in, nurses cried with us. My family came. My husband came. I had never seen him cry before. I held her all day until the nurses said, Becky, it's time. We have to take her. In the following days, everything was just a blur. I was going through a fog, living in a fog, and I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to get up and I wanted to drive to the hospital to see my baby. But she wasn't there. We had to plan a stupid funeral for her. And I hate the word funeral. I hate it. And so I decided that we were going to call this a celebration. A celebration of her life. I planned every single moment of that celebration. It was going to be so special. It was going to be all about her. The day came. And again, I was still in fog. I don't even remember everybody that was there. I just remember so many lines and lines of people there for our family. In the following days after that, I was feeling such emptiness. I just didn't know what to do with myself, and it didn't feel real. Did this even happen? Did she even exist? She's not here? I don't understand. And I felt so much anger and emptiness and just felt so lost. And the realization of her being gone didn't really kick in until several months after. In those months, I had been trying to pray. You know, I'd left my job before she even passed away, and I had nothing to do. I had nothing to keep myself occupied, and for some reason, I wanted to be in the kitchen all the time. I just started baking loads and loads and loads of cupcakes and cakes and everything, and that's the only place that I felt normal, and the only place that I felt happy. I prayed about what I was going to do with my life now, and how can I even go on, and I wanted to figure out a way to help these parents, to help these kids, to in some way help this heart community of kids that are sick and just in and out of the hospital all the time, and in and out of surgeries, and just parents that go through this for what I had for 82 days with Gracie. They go through this their whole child's life, and it's taxing financially, taxing emotionally, physically, everything. It's just so much, and I somehow wanted to do something about it. And I wanted to figure out a way to honor Gracie and keep her story going, keep a legacy for her. And I finally had this morning where I woke up, I got ready for the day, and I was in my closet. And all of a sudden, I had this picture in my mind. I was making cakes, and I was giving them to kids with congenital heart defects, and it was Gracie's legacy. And so I thought about this, I wrote down all of my ideas, I prayed about it, and eventually I figured it out. And I decided that I was going to start a nonprofit organization, and I was going to make custom cakes, for these kids, for these families that are affected by CHDs every day. And I was going to donate the cakes, and by doing that I would be sharing Gracie's story, and spreading awareness about CHDs, and just, I had all these ideas, and I finally figured out what God wanted me to do. And part of the reason why Gracie was here, was possibly to start this organization, and the realization of her actually being gone finally hit when my organization, Cakes from Grace, finally became a reality. So that kind of wraps up this video. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for letting me share more of Gracia's story, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another one. Thanks. Bye.